Bro, we've got so much to talk about. Ugh. Jeez. Up and dead. Oh, I'm so happy you could catch a stream, Line Star. So, I actually made, like, notes for what I want to talk about in the stream. Hi, Apathy! Hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing very, very well. It is lovely to see you all in chat. I've missed streaming so much. Am I good at it? No. Do I like doing it? Yeah. And you guys make it extremely fun to do. So, we have much to discuss. First off, hi. Hey, how you doing? You may notice this looks a little bit different. Well, there's so many things to talk about. Okay. Let's go in chronological order, right? Let's go in chronological order. So, when was my last stream? 13 days ago. Okay. You saw the notif and realized you remembered me from Discord a while back. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Good and bad. There's like an equivalent exchange in like things that happened. So it all is ended up okay though. Like, so, but just there's a lot. So 13 days ago was, let me check the actual date. Days was 13 days ago. Okay, so that's 7. And then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The 8th. The 8th. Really? Damn. I thought it was way longer than that. Time has, like, seemed like it's gone for so long. So, on the 8th, I'm pretty sure, was that later in the day? No, it was August 7th. Okay, that was Thursday. Okay, so that next day, I did a fundraiser, and that happened to be, so I take medication every month, right? You know, average mentally ill type shit. So I was like running low on my medication. Ooh, time drags a lot, yeah, honestly. So I was running low on my medication and I need to get my like increase in meds, like, or my refills. And that's always such a hassle, which I'll talk about at some point. I'll go on a whole rant about it. My roommate has been subjected to my rants recently. Everybody, I feel so bad for her. So I did a fundraiser event, and that Friday, the next day after, that was the last day I had of my medication. And so I have to get my medication shipped from another state because my psychiatrist is in that state. I've had my psychiatrist 10 years, and I moved to this state to do college. And it makes no sense for me to get a whole new psychiatrist because if you've had a therapist or a psychiatrist for many years, you don't want to switch them because that rapport is really, really important for you getting on, like, because they'll know if you need to change and they'll know what you've already had before. They know your history. It's just, medical professionals, it's best to get a rapport with them and stick with them. Like, it's like, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. But since I have an out-of-state pharmacist, since I have an out-of-state psychiatrist, I have to get all my medication shipped because of the new laws that are around. Like, psychiatrists cannot prescribe medication out of state. They can't. They They could prescribe it, but they can't prescribe it to a state that they aren't in. Like, it sucks. It sucks so hard. So my mother, bless her, she picks up my medication and she ships it to me here. But there is a gap usually. And especially because I cannot pick up my medication early because it's what's called a controlled substance, which is a heavily, heavily monitored like medication, which includes, let me make sure I'm giving you all the right info. So, controlled substances are a drug or chemical regulated to law due to its potential for abuse and addiction, even if it has accepted medical use. I thought you said psychiatrists can't prescribe medication anymore, and I was like, what the fuck? That's their whole job. Honestly, I wish you were completely wrong. In a lot of ways, they can't prescribe medication, or they're extremely limited. Like, my psychiatrist has been practicing for decades. Also, look at this little thing. Has been practicing for decades, and he used to be able to treat people from all over the country. Now he can't. He can't see people outside of the state. Like, by law, he's not allowed to, which is wild. And all of this happens because people abuse medication and ruin it for everybody else. Everyone hates it. Everyone hates it. So, a lot of controlled substances happen to be medications that you'll use for like ADHD or for depression or for anxiety. Specifically, like, yeah, there's a lot of ones that are used for treating ADHD, like Ritalin or methylphenidate, methamphetamine. I mean, methylphenidate and methamphetamine, methamphetamine is the street drug, but it has a very similar chemical compound to methylphenidate, which is a stimulant used to treat ADHD. So those are controlled substances, and they are heavily regulated. You cannot pick them up early, not even a day early. Even if there are emergency circumstances, you cannot pick them up early. And if you get your prescription and somebody, God forbid, steals it or you lose it, you cannot get any more. You are shit out of luck. Completely. There is nothing that they can do. And one thing that a lot of people don't know, because a lot of people don't take medications. And a lot of people, if they do take medications, they take like supplements. So over-the-counter stuff. Like, the extent of the medication they take is like, ibuprofen or Tylenol or melatonin, like pain relief or normal over-the-counter stuff. Pharmacists have almost full discretion, and they can do so for any amount of reason, deny you your prescription, even if it is validly filled out, even if your doctor has called them and approved it, even if you've been coming to them for 10 years and you've been getting the same medication, if there is no history of use, they can just deny you. Like, they can just say, no, I'm not going to fill this medication. And you can't do anything about it. I mean, you can do a few things about it, but you can't get that medication. Your only alternatives are go to a different pharmacy, ask for a different pharmacist, ask for their reasoning. And even if you get their reasoning, that doesn't mean you're going to get the medication. It's wild because it falls on the pharmacist to detect potential drug abusers. They have to look at the signs, and if they don't catch it, they get a $25,000 fine and jail time. If they get, just by giving the medication, doing their job, like they see, oh, this person has a prescription for methylphenidate, 25 milligrams taken once a day, and it's approved by the doctor, it all checks out, and if they see the patient and all their information checks out and the patient does not show any signs of like being an abuser of drugs, like, and they give the medication and that patient abuses the medication, you know who gets punished? The pharmacist for doing their job, and it's ridiculous and everyone hates it. You know it's bad when even the insurance companies hate it, because it causes so many problems. All the psychiatrists hate it because it means that their patients can't get the medications that they need. It sucks for the pharmacists because they have to be on guard all the time, even when it is completely like everything checks out, if they even suspect or have a tiny inkling of it, they have to err on the side of denying you your medication to cover their ass. Not because they are like self-absorbed, but because it's safety. The risk of what might happen if they don't is catastrophic. But if you are somebody who like needs that medication and you get it denied, you are left with dealing with the withdrawal symptoms from that. And especially for me, I've been taking my medications for a decade now. Like, a long time. I've been on stimulants since I was like 8. So, like, I've taken stimulants every single day of my life since I was like 8. And I take a lot. So, I don't think it's personally identifying information. I feel like I think we need to normalize talking about medication because it's something that a lot of people deal with, and the errors and the struggles that come with it don't get talked enough about. And a lot of people who don't take medication don't understand how difficult it can be to just get the things that you need in order to do life the same way everybody else does. So I take 200 milligrams of sertraline every morning. So all of this is every morning. I only take my meds in the morning. I take 200 milligrams of sertraline. I take 300 milligrams of bupropion XL extended release. I have 2 different doses of a medication called Asteris. The reason why I have 2 different doses is because the amount that I am prescribed, there isn't a single pill that is that amount. The only way that they can give me that amount is by splitting it into 2 different doses of the already existing dose. You can't just make new doses for a pill just to fit somebody's. Like, there are set amounts that they come in, and if they don't come in that amount that you need, you have to like add or like cut a pill in half or something like that. And if you can't cut a pill in half, you just like need to find a different medication or something like that. So I take 2 different doses of Asteris. I take, I think, 27.5 and 52.3 milligrams. And I take those every day in the morning before, like, right as I wake up. And so Asteris, you guys, actually, you might know what bupropion is. Bupropion is also known as Wellbutrin, and it is used to treat depression, specifically major depressive disorder, which is something I have. And is it categorized as an SSRI? I don't think it is. Also, I love that seasonal affective disorder, which is like what causes depression, its acronym is SAD. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, which is so funny. I hate splitting my sertraline in half because it means that part of the coating is gonna burst my throat unless I'm very careful. Yes. Oh my god. Dude, sertraline, it took me so long to get used to taking sertraline. So Wellbutrin is a very well-known antidepressant. It is categorized under a drug class norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitor, NDRI. So there are SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And then there are NDRIs, which are norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitors. So one of them targets serotonin receptors, and one of them targets dopamine receptors. But 100 milligrams isn't enough, and 200 milligrams gave me derealization, so I gotta deal with it. Yeah, dude, it sucks. Ugh. Yeah, because they don't have a 150 milligram dose. You have to cut one in half. It sucks. And I've taken Wellbutrin for many years. Sertraline is more well-known, I think, than even Wellbutrin. It's also known as Zoloft. It is an SSRI. It is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It is used to treat many conditions, including OCD, major depressive disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And so it targets the serotonin receptors, because usually people with major depressive disorder or OCD or PTSD, their serotonin receptors aren't working in the way that they're supposed to do. So they need a chemical assistance to help regulate that part of their brain so that they can work a little bit more normally as usual. Because you can't control what the chemicals in your brain do. Like, you have no control over that. So chemical intervention is the only way of treating things like that. I mean, you can do it holistically, but you will get consistent results through chemical treatment. And then Asteris, which at first, when I first got prescribed it, none of the doctors that I would talk to when I would write it down, when I would go to the doctor, it's just like, list all medications you take. I would write Asteris, and they're just like, what is that? And I'm just like, I would always have to spell it. And so it's spelled Azstarys. So it is a prescription medication used to treat ADHD. So it's a specifically ADHD medication. It is a central nervous system stimulant, CNS, and it improves attention and decreases impulsiveness and hyperactivity. So it kind of helps you just like mellow. It's kind of a stabilizer. It is a controlled substance. Asteris is a controlled substance. And it's similar to Adderall in the way of Adderall gets prescribed to kids that are like can be prescribed to kids 3 and older, whereas Asteris can be prescribed to kids 6 and older. And Adderall is also used to treat narcolepsy and other sleep disorders, whereas Asteris is solely ADHD. And Asteris is, once again, a controlled substance, which means it is incredibly difficult to get. Rightfully so, but it also sucks because the reason that it's so hard to get is because it's not because of the pharmacists, it's not because of the psychiatrists, it's not because of even the insurance companies, it's not because of the patients, it's because of people that abuse these medications and make it so much harder for people that need them to get them, which it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. Like, out of all the things you could, like, obviously addiction is bad, objectively. I've suffered with addiction. Addiction of any kind is bad. However, I get a lot more pissed off at addictions that make it harder for people who need that substance medically to get that. Whereas there's, like, other drugs where it's just, like, there is no medical use for this. Like, methamphetamine. Like, meth. No, like, all forms of meth, pretty much. Or, like, cocaine. You are, really never going to find, except in very specific circumstances, but it is never something that you can even get, like, with a prescription. You cannot be prescribed cocaine, okay? Like, so, addictions to cocaine do not interfere with normal people's daily lives. Like, people that need medication. Whereas addiction to stimulants is so common. Specifically, Adderall is the stimulant that a lot of people get addicted to. And I know there's an aspect of, like, you can't control addiction, but it still makes me really, really upset because I've had to deal with this for, like, so much of my life. I think lisdexamfetamine, also known as Vyvanse, was more commonly prescribed. Yes. Yeah. Vyvanse is another stimulant. And so, like, they all end with amphetamine because amphetamine is stimulant. Like, that's why methamphetamine is a stimulant drug. So, I've been denied my medication before, and it prevented me from leaving the country on a family trip. It was awful. I was so upset. And so I called the pharmacist. I called the pharmacy, and I'm just like, hey, can you refill my medication? Can you make sure, like, I ask, like, hey, are they all good for refills? Do I need to contact my doctor to write a new prescription? Because also the way that your doctor needs to write the prescription is very specific. They can't just write a non-ending prescription. They write a prescription that only lasts for, like, one one refill or like 3 refills, and then you have to have them write a new prescription for the exact same thing and send it to the pharmacy. Hi, Agung. Good morning. And so I had to do that with my Asteris, just have them resend it. And he's really great about doing it. He's always on top of it. I love him. He's great. But the shipping time, because I got it on Friday, at least my addiction to black tar heroin doesn't affect patients who need the drug. Wait, what? Who said that? No, literally. Just like, literally. It's because it's the only reason why all these ridiculous regulations that have been set up in a way that it doesn't actually necessarily help people not get addicted. It just makes it harder for people that need it to get it. Got prescribed that by a psychiatrist who can't practice anymore due to ethics violations when I was like 6 because I got into a fight over a chair or something. Jesus. God, there's like so much. It's so hard because, and it's one of the reasons why I want to talk about this really, really openly. I want to be somebody that talks about this kind of stuff because it's not talked about enough, and there's so much misinformation and there's so much villainization of the medical field and the mental health field and mental health practitioners that is not, like, it's not backed up by, like, of course, there are going to be examples of people that take advantage of the power position that they are in. However, it is so rare these days, and just in general, but especially now, it rarely happens, and when it does happen, it's almost immediately caught. It, like, found out controlled substances like that actually make me more hyper. Yeah, if you don't need them, they will make you more hyper, because controlled substances are usually stimulants, and yeah, if you don't have the conditions that you would need to have that type of chemical reaction to negate what you already have, because what we take stimulants for is to calm us down. It basically, it's like an opposite kind of thing. It's why caffeine makes a lot of people with ADHD or who take stimulants sleepy. It has the reverse effect. It's why I don't drink caffeine. I can't drink caffeine. It just, 1, it doesn't have effect on me. 2, it has a reverse effect on me where I get really fatigued. I don't even, like, it's not even like I can take it as a sleep medication. No, it just makes me really fatigued. And it gives me a fucking migraine of the century. It sucks. But so I was just like, hey, when will these be ready to pick up? And they'll be like, oh, it's ready to pick up, day after tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay. And then I let my mom know, and she goes over on, like, I think it was Friday or Saturday, and picked it up. Or actually, she could only pick up 2 of them because for some reason they hadn't filled the other one. Like, why? And the thing is that the 2 doses of Asteris are considered as 2 separate prescriptions. So it has happened where they only fill 1 of the doses, and I do not have the other dose. And I have spent a month with 1 of the doses and have had to wait an entire month to get the other dose, because if I did it in a way where it was like slightly off kilter, or I got like one of the dose on one day and got the other dose on another day, it would be the same thing the next month. And I want to get them all at once, because shipping them all at once is going to be the most cost effective, because shipping costs so much fucking money. As you can tell, when my mom went back the next day and grabbed the other medication, so she shipped the first ones out, and they were gonna arrive by like Tuesday. So I was going to go the entire weekend without my medication. And she picked up the other ones the next day, and she sent them, and she did rush shipping and everything, which was $70 extra, $70 extra to get them there. Not even like the next day. They were coming also on like Monday or Tuesday. So I would still not have any medication the entire weekend. Like, I didn't have any emergencies, because you can't, they only give you as much as you were prescribed, nothing more, and you can't get emergency doses. So I went into immediate withdrawal. Like, think about it. For so many years of my life, every single day, I took 600 milligrams of various stimulant and medications. To go from 600 to 0, oh my god, dude. To people who don't take medication, it's like, it's as bad as like other drug withdrawals. It sucks. It's so bad. It's like, it can range. You don't really know how you're gonna react to it. And at first, it was like, it's just the worst fatigue you've ever felt in your life. You just have no energy to like move or do anything, and you are just like sitting there on the couch. It's just a perpetual dissociation. It sucks. It sucks ass. And so that was the first and second days. So Saturday and Sunday, I was just dissociating. I was in and out of sleep. I had exactly, the withdrawal can be so much more dangerous than the addiction. Like, that's why if you ever want to get off stimulants or change a stimulant, you have to wean off of it. It's not like an antibiotic where you can just stop taking it. You have to wean off of it because your brain needs it. If you don't get prescribed it if you don't need it. So I went from 600 milligrams of medication to 0, and no in between, no weaning, no nothing. And so it hits like so fast. And the side effects are immediate of withdrawal. It's awful. It's like, and so Saturday and Sunday was the symptoms I expected. When I would try to go to sleep, I would only sleep about an hour before I would wake up, and it would just continue like that throughout the night. Like the worst sleep ever, extremely restless. And then by Monday, I was just like, maybe it's gonna be a little bit better. Because this past Sunday, my roommate came back. So this was the week before my roommate returned, and I was withdrawing from my medication. And usually if I miss a day, that I have to take like 3 days to recover. So like missing 4 days, oh my god. It's like all of your symptoms come back. You become incredibly depressed. You just can't function. And thank God I'm somebody that's never had a history of like self-harm. Also, one thing about me, as just a content creator or a streamer, I am never going to censor myself because I think it's stupid and ridiculous that we have to do that about concepts that should not be trivialized by being like, oh, grape, or game ended, or what is it, unalived. That makes me so mad. And I understand why other YouTubers do it, because they need the money. I completely empathize with that, and I respect the fuck out of that. Hi, Kesley. But I am never going to do that. I am always going to say the words, because education is always my first priority, and I don't think people can truly understand concepts unless they are told it in their original like format. Kurt Cobain unsliced himself museum. Literally, it's ridiculous, and I hope YouTube gets its shit together, but it seems like that's not happening anytime soon. So it does mean that y'all will have to do a lot of heavy lifting in regards to getting me like more seen by people. I mean, I will do my best, but like YouTube is not gonna like me. But like it's gonna suppress my content if it's even if it was even gonna boost it in the first place, which it probably wasn't. But yeah, so I think it's ridiculous to do that. Like, I understand why people do it, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. You will never find me saying, oh, he pulled out a pew-pew, or he pulled out a, what is it? Like, whatever. Just doesn't make sense. Yeah, the whole world is kind of messed up right now. Like, there's so many I'm just waiting for all the old people that are in power to just die. Because let's see, they've gotta die at some point, right? Like, right? Right! Like, they're not... if they just like find out a way to like live forever, that I'm done. I'm out. I'm going into a cryogenic pod. Wake me up in 10 years and I'll check if it's over or not. And if it's not, I'm going back in the pod. Just freeze me and I'll be fine. Listen, I'll be like Walt Disney. Freeze me. So if I die a horrible death and some girl on TikTok makes a video on how I was raped and had my subscription from Life revoked with a pew pew, my spirit will not rest. I will specifically haunt anyone. Like, literally, like, if I, like, heaven forbid, die in, like, a horrible way or get, like, killed by somebody, I am not going to, like, I will haunt and, like, absolutely torment anybody that decides to make, like, you know, one of those, like, true crime mukbangs. Like, I think that's ridiculous and stupid, and it's so tasteless, and it just, people have no shame, and we need to bring back a little bit of public humiliation. If people aren't gonna have, like, consciousness that, like, tells them, like, maybe I shouldn't do that, then we need to bring back shaming people for being stupid. Just because it's on the internet does not mean you are immune or you are not subject to shame. Like, if you do fuck shit, people should tell you, and people should be able to tell you, you did fuck shit, you are dumb, you are stupid, and you should not have done said fuck shit. Like, I am fine with being the villain in somebody's story if it prevents them from making stupid mistakes in the future, okay? Okay? Like, that's my thing. Sorry, I'm really passionate today, but, you know, that's why y'all love me, right? So, on Monday, and I also had shifts scheduled at the clinic where I do my volunteer work, and I'm just like, I can't fucking do that because I'm gonna be in withdrawal for, like, probably like the next 5 days. And so, Monday, I got one of my medications in, but I didn't see it wasn't gonna be safe if I took it because it came at like 5 p.m. and if I'd taken it, I would have been up that whole night. So I'm just like, no, I'm not taking it that late. It's a good thing I tune out to bullshit that goes out in the world. A dark side / judgmental of me wakes up. Like, honestly, at this point, in the way the world is right now, defaulting to being judgmental about things is honestly the safest decision, because questioning everything around you is going to ensure that you at least aren't going to be manipulated immediately. Like, you still need to prioritize your own free thought, even if it seems like it's something like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Like, obviously, I'm gonna support that. Take a moment to critically think about it. Don't let anybody else make you feel stupid for taking the time before you make a decision on something. Like, the internet is so eager to immediately pressure people to take a stance one way or the other, and they don't let you realize that there is a third option that is the better option, which is wait until more information comes out, whether or not you support or have an opinion or position on any of it. You do not have to have a position or a stance on things if you do not feel like you have enough information given to you to make said decision confidently, because it should be the goal that you stand by your decision fully and have full confidence in what you say, rather than being the first one to say something. That should be the prioritized thing. My cause of death, his heart decided to take his subscription to Life away because it didn't like 10 to 20 bottles of 5-hour energy. Dude, I have never had an energy, like a 5-hour energy, like supplement or anything like that, and I never will. I genuinely think I might blow up if I ever have one of those. I don't have an opinion on anything. Honestly, that's great. I'm not biased, but I am very opinionated. However, that does not mean that I'm unwilling to have a discussion about things. Actually, I'm probably the most willing to have a discussion on things, except most people that happen to have opposing opinions or stances to me on things, most of the time, they aren't able to have a civilized discussion. They want it to become a debate or an argument. It doesn't have to be. Let's just talk like people. Let's just listen. We say one thing, the other person listens, the other person says one thing, then the other person listens, and then the goal isn't to change the other person's mind, it's to communicate and to correspond. That's the goal. Extra strength to add. Each bottle of it is 230 milligrams of caffeine. Why do you do that to yourself? Why are you doing this to yourself? Yeah, wait. You know caffeine addiction is a very real thing, and most people have it. People don't realize that, like, yeah, caffeine is an addictive substance. It's, like, as addictive as alcohol. Like, if not more. And it's so normalized and so, like, just thrown into your face, like, oh, it's just a normal thing to, like, rely on, like, 3 cups of coffee a day. That's not normal. That's not normal. But usually your body will have just as much of a reaction if you just drink a cup of tea or a cup of even hot water at that same time that you usually would drink coffee. Your body becomes like less addicted to the caffeine and more of the routine of it. I mean, I may be wrong, but for me, hot water, tea, hot milk, like, treat your body the way, like, treat your body in the way that you're gonna not regret 20 years from now. Unless you're not planning to live that long. Then do whatever the fuck you want. And I mean, do whatever the fuck you want anyways, as long as you're not hurting other people, and ideally not hurting yourself. But if you are aware of the consequences of your own decisions, you have every right to make said decisions, if you are okay with whatever consequences come with it. I love pointing out in sociology how normal it is to not act like yourself until you had coffee. Like, isn't that... It's so crazy! Like, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. Like, that is textbook, like, dependency. Like, and I'm not trying to, like, villainize or, like, make people feel bad about drinking coffee. It's just something that a lot of people just don't even think about. And honestly, just being more conscious about what you put in your body can just... That's the whole goal. It isn't to make people have shame for what they put in their body. It's just to make sure that everyone, no matter what lifestyle they lead, is more conscious about the things that they do, that they say, and what they put in their body. That's the goal, is just become more conscious of what you do. Don't do things mindlessly. Like, be aware of the steps and things you do, because you might realize that you're doing things that you have no reason to do. And it's just taking money out of your pocket for no reason, and you can't justify it, and you're just like, why am I doing that? And we don't realize that until we take a closer look on what we do every day. Coffee is the cheapest source of caffeine for most people. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because it's extremely easy to make. It's been around for thousands of years. Like, it's very... Coffee is very great, like, plant, and it has a lot of benefits. You know, it makes chocolate as well. Like, you know, wouldn't it be funny if we all just did cocaine every morning and we were just like, don't talk to me until I've had my line? Like, on it. It's really, like, I've been like this since I was really young, where, like, if I was in middle school or high school and my friends would be like, oh, how many drinks of coffee have you had today? And they'd be like, oh, like 4. And I'm just like, it's 11 a.m. Like, are you okay? Like, and they're just like, yeah, I just need my coffee. And I'm just like, okay. You know, if you need anything, I'm here. Okay. But, okay. Got sidetracked. So, Monday, it was still fatigue. Tuesday. Wait. No. Yes. Okay. Sorry. So, that week passed and stuff like that. And then that Wednesday, I had my second, like, skin appointment. So, about a month ago, I had, like, as treatment for, like, my acne scarring, because I had, like, for a year, this, like, bacterial infection that happened on my face, because for some reason, my skin decided to go fucking insane because of the water here, because the difference in hardness levels, and our water here is really high in calcium and magnesium, And my skin was just like, and so it just decided to, and I had to deal with that. And so it's now, I took an antibiotic and now it's gone, and it's done, and I don't need to take the antibiotic. And so, but it left a bunch of scarring, and so in order to treat this, I went and got microneedling done at this place, and it was expensive as fuck, but I'm just like, I'm only gonna get this done like once or twice, and it's on my face, and it's something I'm not gonna do again anytime soon, and like, I know that this place is extremely reputable, and like, it's safe, and they're gonna do a good job, they're gonna do good work, so I'm willing to make that investment, because it's a lot, I feel a lot more comfortable having a trained professional that has like decades of experience treating my face, even if it costs a little bit more, than doing it at home where I have no clue where the fuck I'm doing, where it could turn into a whole thing that would cost more to fix. So, you know, that's what making adult decisions is like. Weighing the pros and cons and how much you want to invest in things based on how important they are, or how like vital it is that they be done correctly. It's like when you're fixing your house, it's a lot better financially to make a big investment in getting it fixed really well, so you don't have to worry about that same issue coming up again for like at least a decade. Like, you don't have to worry about that ever being an issue. Like, if you're getting your bathroom remodeled and you're having to take out and redo all the piping anyways, if the walls aren't properly stable, it's worth it to just redo the entire walls or redo the entire bathroom or something like that, because that means you'll never have to think about it for like a really long time, and it fucking boosts your property value through the fucking roof. Like, listen, who would have ever thought I would be giving financial advice? Not me. So that happened until like, you know, Friday. And then I think it was Saturday, the day before my roommate came back. Oh, and I also cleaned the whole house even while I was withdrawing, which I think partially, one of the symptoms of like stimulant withdrawal is you can get into like a manic state. You can have a lot of symptoms that happen with BPD or schizoaffective disorder. Like, obviously you don't all of a sudden have BPD or schizoaffective disorder, but the withdrawal can trigger those types of chemical reactions and chemical responses in your brain, and physiologically you can have those symptoms and be really, you can have hallucinations, you can have like hypersensitivity to like temperatures, and like you'll, like, I was constantly sweating and really cold. I had no temperature regulation in my body, and it's all caused from the withdrawal. Even when on Tuesday I got back on my medication, it's still like my body was still, because remember, I went from 600 milligrams to 0 milligrams back to 600 milligrams, no in between those two jumps. So both the act of getting off a lot of stimulants and taking a lot of stimulants at once all of a sudden both cause bad symptoms, like. And so, but I cleaned the house, and on Saturday I woke up at 7:30 because there was a doorbell ringing. Like, my doorbell got rung, and I went downstairs, and I'm alone at the house. My roommate doesn't come back till the next day. I go downstairs, and there's this girl. She's like my age, a little bit older, and there's this girl, and she's like, she looks a little bit disheveled or just like really concerned and confused. And I open the door and I'm just like, hi, what's up? And she's like, can you tell me where I am? I'm so sorry. I don't know where I am. I don't have my phone. I don't have my wallet. I don't have my keys. I don't have my shoes. I woke up on the back of your porch. I don't know where I am. And I'm just like, oh, come inside. Like, come inside. Because immediately I'm just like, okay, I know that this person is not going to kill me because they look like a normal person, that they were just like, I was out with my friends last night and we partied and I had a bunch of drinks and I blacked out, and now I woke up on your back porch. I don't know how I got here. I don't know where I am. And I first was just like, okay, do you know your name? Do you know, like, because obviously there's multiple concerns that I had. I'm just like, come on in, because like, obviously she's not gonna go anywhere else, and it's a lot better for her to be watched by me rather than some other person. And so there was no suspecting, like, she was confident that nobody drugged her or anything like that. She had no signs of trauma, no injury, no physical symptoms of any kind. And she's just like, I've blacked out before, so I know what it feels like. I'm positive I just blacked out and probably meandered over here. And so she said that she had woken up and she was so dehydrated that, like, she was on the back porch, and so she, like, drank out of the hose because she was so dehydrated, and then she just walked back and forth for like 30 minutes because she was so freaked out. Because imagine how terrifying that is, waking up and not having any of your things, not having your phone, your keys, your wallet, your shoes, and not knowing where the fuck you are or how you got there. You don't know if somebody's looking for you. You don't know where you are. Like, how scary is that? Like, thank God nothing happened to her. Like, she didn't get assaulted or anything like that, because it easily could have happened. Because, you know, okay, I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. There's a lot of places here that are not safe. Just not safe. Especially at night. And I live really close to one of the most dangerous cities, or one of the most dangerous streets. Like, just like 2 streets down is one of the most dangerous streets. And my street is great, but it's so interesting how, like, a really safe street is, like, right next to one of the most dangerous streets. So I had her sit down, and I got her water, because I had just woken up as well. And I'm just like, okay, we're getting up. We're going to make sure this girl gets to where she needs to go safely. And I'm not letting her leave until I know that she's going to be safe. So I just asked her a bunch of questions. And I'm just like, do you know where your friends are? Do you know who your friends are? Can you contact them through my phone? Like, do you know their numbers? And obviously, most of the time, people aren't going to know the actual numbers of these people because everybody has their contacts. It just gets automatically saved, and you don't think about the actual number. Like, you're never going to actually dial the number. You're just going to go to the contacts and click the name and call them. So I'm just like, do you know any social medias they have? Yeah, exactly. Thank God it was my porch and not somebody else's. Exactly. And also, I have great neighbors. So the neighbors that are right next to me, if she had gone to their door, they're a couple, they have 2 dogs, they would have done the exact same thing that I did. So my logic, what I was acting like, is what my mom would do. Like, exactly what my mom would do if she had somebody, like, come to her door and be like, I don't know where I am. Like, this is exactly what she would do. So I got her inside, and I sat her down on my couch, and she was so upset. She was, like, so upset at herself. She was blaming herself, and it was just like, listen, you made a poor decision, but what matters right now, and what you can do about it right now, is that you are safe right now. You are safe here. You got to a safe place. You aren't hurt. And we're gonna figure everything else out, okay? Like, so I just made sure she knows, like, what's done is done. We are going to figure out what we can do right now and what the next steps can be. So I'm just like, do your friends have social media? Like, maybe we could contact them through that. And she was just like, yeah, I know their social media. And so we went through Instagram, and she DM'd her friend through my Instagram account, like, this whole thing, like, tried to call them, but obviously it wouldn't work because we're not friends. And so we waited on that, and then I made sure she drank water and, like, Gatorade, because electrolytes, she needs, like, something in her. She didn't want to eat, but, like, I'm just like, get something in you. Yeah, so then we went back outside, and we were gonna check. We were able to ping her phone from my phone. And it said that it was in the building right next to me on the other side. And that building is kind of a rough building. It kind of gives the vibe of a crack den, like, a lot of it. Like, there's a lot of people coming and going, but, like, the police have never been called there. Like, it's fine, but it just looks very, very dilapidated. And so, but it was pinging in that building, like, in the building, which were just like, shit, like, oh God. And so we decided to go and see if we could get into the building and look around and see if we could find her phone, like, ping it and see if it, like, like makes a noise and something like that, you know. And thank goodness there was the maintenance guy for that building. He was really nice. He was a black guy named Chad. He said, like, I got his contact because he was just like, you're probably never gonna meet another black guy named Chad, so that's how you'll remember me. And he was lovely. He went in with us, and we went up and down all the floors looking for it. We couldn't find it, which meant it was probably in one of the units, but it wasn't dead. It was on. It had power, and it was pinging, but it wasn't where we could see it. And so we immediately, I was just like, okay, well, we've tried that. Now let's call the non-emergency line to see if they can get her to where she needs to go, because I don't have a car and I am not going to get her an Uber. Even if I'm in the Uber, I'm not going to do that, because if we get to a destination and we need to leave quickly for whatever reason, we will not be able to because I don't have a car. So I'm just like, no, we're staying here, and the only person that's going to take you out of here is either your friends or law enforcement that will help you. And so I called the non-emergency line, and they were just like, yeah, no, we'll come down there. Like, we'll check things out. We'll see if we can find her phone. Like, because they have a lot of technology where they can find things really easily, like a lot better than like an Apple iPhone can do to find another Apple iPhone. Like, they have a lot better like technology to do that. And so like I waited like 30 minutes, and then they called me, and they were just like, so where are you? And I'm just like, oh, well, I'm at this address, and I gave them my zip code, and they're just like, oh, are you calling from Missouri? And I'm just like, yeah. And they're just like, oh, this is the Nashville, Tennessee non-emergency line. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. And they're just like, no, it's okay. And I'm just like, okay. So then I called the Kansas City, Missouri non-emergency line, and the Nashville people were so nice, and they were so helpful, and they acted exactly how I would expect a non-emergency line to act. Hi, Cold Flame. They acted exactly how I would expect a non-emergency line to act. But I called the Kansas City, Missouri non-emergency line, and I told them the situation, being like, hey, there's a girl that, like, she doesn't know where she is. Like, she's completely disoriented. She doesn't have any of her belongings. She doesn't have her car. Like, I can't take her anywhere. Can you help her? Can you help us to see if you can take her where she needs to go, to make sure she's safe while going there, so she's not walking barefoot, or see if she can find her phone. And they, dead ass, the woman on the phone was just like, we're not an Uber service, and we don't find people's phones. And I'm just like, I don't know if it's just me, but that was not what I was asking. That is not how I would expect a non-emergency line to respond. Like, non-emergency lines, you call them if there's a person. Like, one of the reasons you can call them is to deal with non-emergencies. Like, somebody is in distress and does not have a way to get to where they need to go for safety, like, safely. You call them, and they will help you, so it was a really jarring response. I was just like, she was really rude about it, too, and I'm just like, what? So I was just like, okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your time. And I'm just hung up, and I'm just like, okay, well, okay. So my flatmate, not my roommate, but the person that also lives in this building upstairs, she, we saw her when we were walking over to the building with the maintenance guy to check it out. And she was going to class, and she's like, I'll be back in like 2 hours, and I'll come see you guys and check in, when I'm back. And I'm just like, okay. And she's older than me, so she's 25. This girl that arrived at my door, she was 26, and I'm 21. So we're pretty close in age, but, you know, still a difference. So she was just wanting to make sure I was safe, and she's lovely. So, then she came back from class, and she came in, and I was just like, hey, let's do a little powwow. And then she recommended, why don't you have, I'm gonna call the girl Julie. Why don't you have Julie log into her Instagram account on your phone, so she can directly, because you'll probably get a response if she messages them, rather than you, a person they don't know, messaging them. And I'm just like, I don't understand why I didn't think of that, because when we did that, it immediately worked, and her friend picked up and was just like, oh, okay, I'll come to get you. And so everything ended up working out. Everything was fine. It turned out reason why her stuff was in there was because her mutual friend was staying there, or like crashing there for the night, and her stuff was in their room. So it wasn't stolen or anything like that. Everything worked out, but that was my Saturday morning. That was a crazy Saturday morning. The day before my roommate came back. Wild. Everything ended up being okay, and everybody was all right, and everything worked out, but just wild. I've never had an experience to me happen like that. And I was really calm throughout the whole thing, which I surprised myself because I've never been in high stress situations before. Thank God. Like, I've never had to experience high stress situations, really. But now I know I am incredibly calm under pressure, like under stress. Because I was just like, I stayed completely calm. I'm just like, all right, we're going to deal with this. We're going to figure it out. You're safe. You're going to stay here, and I'm going to monitor you. If we have to wait all day, we will. Okay? Like, don't feel guilty about that. I'm making sure you're safe. Like, I'm being a girl's girl. Like, this is what a good person would do. And so everything worked out with that. And now I have her contact, and we're friends now. But that was just wild. Like, who would have thought that would happen? Like, on a random Saturday. And so, like, rest of that day, I was just like, wow. I immediately called my mom after. And, she was just like, oh my God, like, wow, you did really good. And I'm just like, thanks, I know. And she's like, you did exactly what I would do. And I'm just like, thanks, I know. Like, I was really proud. And I should be proud about that. I did a good deed. I feel like that checks off my good Samaritan duties for, like, the rest of the year, honestly. When I'm under pressure, I handle it well in the moment and then repress the trauma, literally. Actually, wild story, though. Literally. Dude. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? And so the next day, just another Saturday. Exactly. Average proxy Saturday. So the next day, my roommate came back, and that whole morning, I, like, cleaned the whole kitchen, and that whole Saturday, I kept cleaning and blah, 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 and it was, like, I was really motivated to clean and stuff like that. And so when my roommate came back, I didn't realize until her parents pointed it out to me, but it was like, if you had seen me, it was like I was on cocaine. It was like I was on cocaine or, like, speed. I was extremely twitchy. I was talking really, really fast. I used a ton of gesticulations with my hands. I was out of breath. I was just, like, not focused. I was not there, but I was super, like, wired, like, in a way that was not normal. But I wasn't in pain or anything. Saving the world one confused lady at a time. So true. So true. Put that on my tombstone, for real. And so, and, like, my eyes were hurting. I had a migraine the whole time, but I didn't register that because I was so amped up that I didn't see anything wrong. But I'd, like, been manically, looking back, I was 100% in a manic state. 100%. 1000%. And that's when I did a bunch of research. That's one of the things that can happen when you have withdrawal and immediate bring back the bunch of medicine, like, go off of and then bring it all back. And so that night I had the worst sleep of my life. Correction, I didn't sleep. I did not sleep. And so, like, it wasn't even that I was tired and couldn't sleep. My body wasn't tired. And that is incredibly unusual for me. Like, until about, like, 6 a.m., I just sat there. I tried everything. Tea, breathing exercises, meditation, and I never meditate. Like, so I put a lot of effort into it. And also, I was wanting to see if, like, maybe an audiobook would help. And my mom recommended me this audiobook, and it happened to be about, it's called The Midnight Library. Amazing story. However, I don't think my mom even registered, like, maybe this wasn't a good idea, because the main whole plot starts with the main character, like, ending her life. Like, it's all about somebody ending her life and figuring out, like, trying to find the motivation to live and stuff like that, and it's all, like, really interesting, but it's, like, based around the concept of, like, suicide. So having withdrawal symptoms and being in a manic state and then listening to something that's really good but is about suicide might not be the best combination. So, like, I have no history of, like, you know, as I said, like, I have no history of harming myself, but, like, I still have major depressive disorder, so I still have had, you know, suicidal thoughts. And so those came back tenfold. Like, I had a ton of intrusive thoughts, ton of suicidal thoughts, but I had no desire to act on any of them. So I was calm, but I was just like, it was like I had complete control of my body, but no control over my brain. Like, it would not shut up. And, like, normally with ADHD, your brain kind of just doesn't shut up normally. Like, it just doesn't. But this was, like, unstoppable. It was so fast. It was so all over the place. It was, like, insane. I was just, like, getting whiplash from how crazy it was. And so, but during that day, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna deal with this. Like, I was holding it together, but then, like, the next day, I freaked out because, like, looking back, that was fucking terrifying because I have never had that kind of stuff happen to me before. I've never had, like, no control over my brain because I've never had withdrawal like this before. Like, the most I've had is, like, I miss a day, and that happens every, like, 4 months, and it's happened less and less over the years. But I never had a withdrawal to this extent, and this abrupt. And so I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I know I'm not gonna hurt myself or anything like that, but I'm just scared, and I'm worried that it might happen again. And I talked to my mentor about it, and she was just like, listen. And she's a social worker. She's like a licensed social worker, so she would know if there was, like, actual concern. She was a little concerned, but she was just, like, more about concerned that I wasn't receptive to feedback like I usually am, and more of, like, she was just like, oh, okay, she's kind of spiraling, but, like, she, like, I was supposed to meet with her that week, but I didn't because she had issues with her whole schooling and their scheduling, and we had to cancel, which was upsetting, but I handled it like a champ. So that was my whole week. That was up until last Sunday. And so now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I took driving class. I took driver's ed, and I aced that shit. I'm so good at driving, y'all. So good at driving. And also, I learned that since I'm 21 now, I don't have to wait 182 days after getting my learner's permit to get my license, because usually you would have to wait 6 months after you get your learner's permit to get your license. But now I can get my license at any time as long as I pass the test. But I'm not going to, because the original plan was I'm going down this, I think it's either this weekend or next Monday, going down to my mom, and we are getting a car, buying a car. I'm getting a car! Ah! And I'm driving it back up here. And then I'll have a car to practice in until I feel comfortable taking the test. Because I know I'm competent at driving, I just don't feel confident enough that I will, like, I know I'll probably pass the test, but I don't think it's fair to myself to pass the test just because I can. I want to feel ready to do it, because there's no reason to rush it. But it's so exciting. I'm gonna have a car. That's gonna make so many things in my life. Like, I'm gonna get the amount of, like, things that's going to change for me. It is going to be, like, insane how life-changing this is gonna be. Like, I will have so much more freedom to go get my own groceries whenever I want. Like, I won't have to wait or take an Uber to go get there. Like, so cool. Oh, I haven't got my license yet. I've gotten my permit, and I've passed my driving test. So I'm getting a car, and I will show them my certificate from the, or I've gotten driver's ed, not the driving test. I've gotten driver's ed and gotten a certificate of, like, completion from that. And I'll give that to the insurance companies because I don't have a license. So getting a car, usually you can't get it without a license if you just have, like, a permit. But I can give it to them to show, like, I am, like, qualified to get it, even if I don't have my license yet. And I'm gonna have my mom co-sign it. I'm gonna get so many bitches and groceries, literally in that order. The bitches will love me because of my groceries. Like, it's just how it is. But yeah, it's so exciting. And awesome news as well. I had a meeting with my psychiatrist, and we, figured out the solution in case the withdrawal thing happens again, or if there's a gap in which I don't have my medication, instead of the Asteris, I will take Concerta, because it has a very similar chemical makeup to it, and I've already taken Concerta before, so I know I won't have side effects to it. The only reason I had to stop taking Concerta is because during the pandemic, they stopped all production of Concerta. So anybody that was on prescription Concerta had to stop taking it. Like, they just stopped making it. Like, so I had to change. There was nothing wrong with it. We just had to stop taking it because they didn't make it anymore. But now they make it again and stuff like that. So I'll get one, like, fill of it, and I'll have, like, 30 pills in that, and the only time I will ever take a pill is when I don't have my Asteris. Like, it's in, like, shipping, just so I can mitigate as much as I can the withdrawal effects, which is really awesome. And he also told me that I was describing, like, sort of where I'm at developmentally, and, like, because I've known him for over 10 years, and he's seen me, my development, and stuff like that. Bitches hated my spark, but I loved her. I'm planning on getting a Subaru. Because they're really reliable cars. They'll last forever. They're really safe. They're, like, honestly, they're pretty affordable insurance-wise because they're not SUVs. Honestly, every insurance is different, but they're 4-door because if you get a 2-door, it's categorized as a sports car and you'll have to pay more for insurance. Yeah, it's really good miles per gallon as well. Toyotas and Subarus are really good miles per gallon, and they last forever. He told me, like, I described sort of like that I don't really feel like I have anything at this point that I can't handle with my skills that I've developed over the years. Like, there are some things that I don't get perfectly and that I still struggle to do, but not in a way where I need extra, like, medical intervention or anything like that. Like, I have my mentor, of course, but I'm able to confront and deal with scenarios and situations. Like, I'm able to work through them by myself most of the time, which is huge. And that means that that is, like, the definition of having remission of symptoms. That means that, like, for my ADHD, my depression, all that stuff, it's managed. It's like I'm at a point where I am sufficiently managing it so that I only need to meet with my psychiatrist 4 times a year now, which is crazy. Like, that's always the goal for therapists and psychiatrists. Is there's a saying of, like, something like therapists and psychiatrists, their goal is to be out of a job because their goal is to make it so that you don't need them anymore. That's the goal. And I've, like, for now, at least, until something else happens or until circumstances changes or I go back to school or something like that, like, I don't need to meet with him, like, as much as I usually would. Like, I don't know if I'm properly communicating how big of a deal that is, but, like, I've needed to see psychiatrists and therapists, like, regularly since I was 7 years old. And before that, I was only diagnosed with my stuff when I was 7. But I've been in therapy since, like, different types of therapy since I was, like, 3. Like, speech therapy, like, play therapy. Excuse me. So, big deal. Like, that's so cool. Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. That's so awesome. And basically, yeah, those are, like, the big things, but there are some other things. You know, the overhead light that I have, like, up here? Dead. Done. I got it, like, 3 months ago, and it's done. It won't work anymore. It was, like, flickering for, like, a week, and then doesn't work. The little, like, cord, like, slot where the cord goes in, the connecting point, is so shit that it like kept falling out and like kept like being really loose and it wouldn't stay in, so that's why it was flickering, and then all of a sudden it just gave up. And I looked on the like the Amazon reviews, and that's the issue that everybody else has with it. And I like searched, I scoured for like a replacement for it that didn't have that issue, and every single one of them gives up in like 3 months. They cost like $40. And I don't want to buy something that's gonna cost me $40 that's gonna not be usable in like 3 months. Like, but then the only other options are either really dinky ones that are cheap, but they'll like, they don't either give enough light or anything like that, or I like buy like, it's not even like they're either like hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, like a light fixture, like a like what it. So if anybody knows a good like light source for streaming that won't die on me after like a couple months of use, let me know. And it's like relatively affordable. Like I'll pay $100 for something that is gonna last me like a year, okay? I'll pay it. I'll do it. But none of this bullshit again. But what we did get, well, we got this little dinky one, little dinky ring light, which is giving like a shit amount of light, but it's okay, I guess. But if I ever want to do like nighttime streams, can't do that because I won't have enough light. I got a new camera. It says it's like 1080p, but I don't feel like it's 1080p. Yeah, I don't feel like this is 1080p. Do y'all think this is 1080p? I don't know. Cause like, maybe it, I don't know. Wait, hold on. Video. General stream. Is there like advanced accessibility, blah blah blah? Recording. Okay. I don't know. I have to do more OBS research or whatever. But yeah, I got a new camera. You're wondering what happened to the old one. I thought it was broken because it was like not doing what it was supposed to do. And hold on. Being really like garbage and shit. Get off of me. Get in the thing. Thank you. Ugh. Can only increase the video quality to 720p. 720p. It's bullshit. Okay. Let's see. Oh. So, yeah. I gotta figure out color grading, because this is shit. But I also got one of those, like, room lights things. And, yeah, but it doesn't obviously light up the whole room, because it's not dark. Because if it was dark, the camera wouldn't work. Because this light is shit. So it's like law of equivalent exchange. The light died, but we got a new camera. But now I don't have a light, so the camera will work properly. And it's still in 720p. Is it an issue with, like, how I do it on YouTube? Like... Maybe? Video bitrate. Video encoder. Okay, I don't fucking know. Yeah, that's my, the only two lights that I have in my room are that one and the other one, that's the exact same thing on the other side of my bed. They look like I'm ascending. Like, but, like, here, let me show you what it looks like if I turn it off. It looks fine, but I'm just like, it looks fine. It actually probably looks better like that. Yeah, okay, it just looks better like that. Great. Great, I'm so smart, guys. But it has, like, a little, like, remote controller. So it's like... Do your thing. Hello? I want the pretty colors. Yeah. But then it sometimes makes you look green, and then red, and then green, and then red. You thought it was a halo, honestly? Easy mistake. Very easy mistake. But, like, see, like, how the color grading gets all weird when it's like that. I guess, like, if I have it at, like, just one. Oh. Why? I'm all pink. Okay, now I look a bit more normal. Okay. What about Urple? Okay. 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 What do we think? What's yellow? Ugh. What's orange? It's not bright enough. See, the purple is all consuming. Hollow purple type shit. The blue makes me look like a tomato. You see? I look like I put, like, the heat filter on. Like, what about green? Am I still a tomato? I'm still a tomato. Okay. White? White. Yeah, okay, what do you think? Okay, actually, no, there's no, red? Green? Oh, blue works, I guess. Blue looks kind of weird. Purple. Oh, it can do, like, sound detection, which is what it's doing, like, right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, purple is the best, I agree. So I'm gonna stop being a tomato. Purple. Purple! Yeah. Yeah. Did I have anything else? I took notes. If I made, like, an Amazon wish list or something, would you guys want that? So, like, if you have... Obviously, I'm not gonna ask for your money. But, you know... I obviously won't refuse it. But I don't even know if you all are able to donate in the stream. Like, I don't even know if that's an option. I'm not saying do it, but, like, I won't stop you. I'm not a grifter. I'm not going to put things as an incentive. Like, I won't be like, I'm only gonna stream if you give me money. No. But Since I don't have a car, I don't have a job yet. So, I am, like, I have an amount of money every month that I work with. That's great. However, if I could have this as, like, a secondary source of income, that would be, like, obviously that's a goal of everybody. But, like, it's not required, and you're not any less of a person that I adore and absolutely love having here if you don't donate. Honestly, I never donate to anybody, so don't feel bad about it. Like, I'm very, I like my money. I like having my money. But if I got, like, an Amazon wish list of, like, things that would directly impact the quality of the stream, apparently Amazon may become a site that sells cars? Are they stupid? Oh yeah, Amazon reviews. Great for reviewing cars. Listen, I'm just waiting for all the stupid people to die. Okay? That's where I'm at. I feel like there's a lot of people in that boat. Both a lot of people waiting for the stupid people to die and a lot of people that are said stupid people. Yeah. Oh, I may be working with a... Like, I'm just waiting for him to get back to me because he said he wanted to work with me. Like a pretty big YouTuber. Let me look up how... Oh, wait. Huh? Gamescom this past week? No. Oh, did Silksong happen? Did Silksong happen? God, okay, hold on. Silksong. September 4th, 2025. That's soon! Oh, that's so soon! Oh my god. They showed gameplay? Okay. I can't wait for the video essay that will come out by, like, Mossbag or whoever. That's gonna be like the saga of Silksong, a delayed development. Like, you know, listen. At least they're doing better than fucking Pirate Software or Yandere Dev. God, speaking of Yandere Dev, there's so much proxy lore that y'all don't know about of my time on the internet, including a time that I worked for Yandere Dev. Dude, there's so much shit that's just, like, out of nowhere that you would never think that I have, like, that I've, like, dealt with or, like, I've, like, experienced. Like, Yandere Dev jump scare. Most rental company cars will sell their cars after about 40k miles. Cars just don't make sense to me. Not cars as machines, but cars as, like, a financial corporation. Just, like, there's so many things that just don't make sense to me. Like, the fact that the minute you own a car and drive it off the lot, it loses value. That... What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I don't understand. Someone explain it to me, but because I don't understand. I feel like even if you explained it to me, I wouldn't understand still. Oh, I started playing Darkest Dungeon. I'm good at it. Well, actually, I'm not. I got babysat by the Darkest Dungeon Discord. Shout out to the Darkest Dungeon Discord. And they told me how to play the game. And so I've been playing the game. But I'm also pussy shit to play the game on my own, so I've only played the game when I'm in a Discord call with other people from the Darkest Dungeon Discord. Like, they don't test them? What do you mean they don't test the cars? Hello? Hertz has already started listing their cars on there. Oh, that's Hertz. People pay for temporary use of a car. Could have an aneurysm, y'all. Y'all. I just want something that makes sense. Yeah. Especially exotic ones. Oh yeah, obviously. And rental car. How long have I been streaming for now? I've just been yapping. Just been fucking yapping. Hour and a half. Wow. Wow. Crazy. I think this is like the most like consistent viewers that I've had. Yeah. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. What is it about this stream? Do y'all like the yapping? Do the visuals help? There's so much that I could yap about. Oh my god. I'm so opinionated and I have so much to talk about just things I've seen on the internet going around. Dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Manual transmission cars make sense. Oh my god, have you guys heard about the fucking supplement called Feel Free? That's been, like, getting people addicted? Like, so, okay. Feel Free. Love the yap. We just missed you also. Ah, I miss y'all too. So, if y'all don't know what Feel Free is. Feel Free. Y'all heard of Feel Free? Y'all heard of it? Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, save. Only a song, maybe. Okay. Support for y'all to probably know about this, then. What is happening in my ears? I don't know. Lo-fi moment. Save image. I don't want a WebP file. I don't want a WebP file. I want a PNG. Give me a PNG. Okay. This is Feel Free. This is an herbal supplement. Herbal supplement in quotation marks. Because this shit, so you know how we were talking about 5-hour energy earlier? So you will find this shit in the same place that you will find 5-hour energy drinks. Like in the gas station, like at the counter, they will look like this. Do not get them. They say herbal supplement. However, they have... Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Yeah, so it's like being advertised as like a trendy new kombucha. Like, it has kava in it. But it's a caffeine energy boost or a little extra focus. It has in it kava and kratom. Both are legal in the US, but they are both highly addictive. If y'all don't know what kava is, let me talk to you about it. Kava Hold on. It has been used in the area for Pacific Islanders. It has been used by the Pacific Islanders as like a ceremonial or medicinal plant. And its roots can be used as it has psychoactive effects. It can have psychoactive effects. Hold on. Wanting to make sure I'm not giving y'all misinformation. Because I care about misinformation. So, got it. Kava is part of the pepper family, and it is native to the Pacific Islands. It is either used to refer to the plant or a psychoactive beverage, which is made from the root. It is prepared, usually soaked, dried root powder in water and then straining it. It is consumed socially for sedative, hypnotic, muscle relaxant, anxiolytic. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Anxiolytic. Anxiolytic. Thank you, Google. So, it has sedative, hypnotic, muscle relaxant, anxiolytic, and euphoric effects comparable to alcohol. It is incredibly addictive, but it is legal in the United States. And then kratom is also a plant. It produces both stimulant effects when you take it in low doses and sedative effects when you take it in high doses. It can lead to psychotic symptoms and psychological and physiological dependence. It has the leaves contain two major psychoactive ingredients, which are mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine. In the US, there has been a substantial increase in the amount of people addicted to kratom. So it causes psychosis. Two incredibly addictive substances that are both plants. Feel Free has both of these things in them. Kava binds to the same receptors as benzodiazepines, and kratom interacts with the same receptors as opioids. So you have something that is going to get you addicted like benzodiazepines would, and get you addicted like opioids would. And they're in the same thing. And it is in this fucking herbal supplement. It's marketed as a supplement. And people will take it because, herbal supplement. Ooh, people that like supplements will take it. And they will get wildly addicted. And if they stop taking it, they will have withdrawals equivalent to benzodiazepine and opioid withdrawals. There are 14-year-olds getting addicted to this stuff. People who are working gas stations will be like, I have people coming in or like waiting outside the gas station and asking people to buy this for them like 5-6 times a day because they are so addicted to it. So especially if you are an educator of any kind. My mom is an educator, so I let her know about this immediately. If you work in the mental health field and you don't know about this, or you are a mother or a parent or somebody that works around children, if you start seeing students or young adults have symptoms of addiction or withdrawal for opioids or benzodiazepines, likely this might be the cause. If you see it, do not get it. The reason why it is on the market is because it is marketed as a supplement, and the FDA historically has not cracked down on supplements in the same way that it does with other types of consumables. Yeah, we don't survive with these kind of products because it's like, oh wow, great, we have another drug crisis on our hands. Plant-based herbal supplement that won't get you addicted to opioids and benzodiazepines. Wow. Revolutionary. No, it's not allegedly. It's what's happening. Like, chemically, that's what's in it. And in the doses that it's in it, like, ingredients-wise, that is the effects that it's giving people. And that is the effects that it would give anyone who consumes those chemicals. Like, it's like, I would say allegedly, but there's so many, like, examples of this happening, and they have gotten it down. They're able to look at it. It's not even like when there's something like that's a thing that you can see all the ingredients in it, it's a lot easier to definitively say, like, this has stuff that is addictive in it. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And on their own, Kava and Kratom are fine. They're fine. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. They're fine on their own. The combination of them is what has a lot of people concerned, because that's what's giving them this, like, awful, like, addiction. Well, the thing is about cracking down on addictive substances, there are a lot of things that technically have the ability to be addictive, or you can become physiologically or chemically dependent on them if you consume them not in moderation. Like, people that become obese have a food dependency. They are often psychologically or physiologically addicted to the act of eating food, even if they aren't wanting to actually get full. Even if they aren't hungry, they have the compulsion to eat food because either it is a stress mechanism, it's a coping mechanism, it is a way of stimulation. Like, if they are struggling with depression, it's a coping mechanism. Like, it is just the way that they process hard emotions, or it's their just go-to for what they do if they don't know if there's anything else to do. Is hydrofluoric acid good in moderation? Well, it depends on what you're meaning. Like, what are you using it for? Like, obviously, don't eat it. Please don't eat it. Don't eat it at all, please. Don't touch it, don't let it get on you, but, like, it has its uses. And in its uses, it does its job really well. It's just basically, if you use things not how they're intended to be used, or if you use things much more than recommended or they're intended to be used, you are going to have likely poor experiences with said thing, because yeah, best used for etching. Yep. into like metal and glass and stuff like that. But like, because humans historically have found ways to become addicted or found ways to be dependent on many things. Like, it's very, very interesting to see, like, definitely, if you can, do some research about, like, how addictions in the brain actually work, like, what happens in the brain with different types of addictions. It's so, so interesting. It's also very relevant because there are a lot of things around these days that are causing addictions or dependencies to people, and if you have somebody in your life that you feel like might be struggling with an addiction or a dependency of some kind and it's really taking a toll on them, it's really important to know what the signs are and what you can do to help. Because when you get addicted to something, 99.9% of the time, if you are ever going to recover, you don't have the capacity to do it alone, because it overrides your ability to think rationally. You'll do things that are out of character to you. You will, like, a whole new side of you will come out if you're addicted to something. Oh my god, I'm so happy you asked about this. Oh my god, I'm so happy you asked about this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is one of those things that people do not talk about, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be normalized to talk about it, because it is so much more common than people think. And I guarantee there are so many people who have had this, and just, like, even if they have really, really close friends, it's one of those things that even they won't tell their friends that, because it's just like, oh, it's too weird, or they won't understand it. Pornography addictions are incredibly common, especially in kids and young teens. Like, preteens, I would know. I was addicted to pornography. When I was 9, 10, 11, 12, I was extremely addicted to pornography. And not only is pornography addiction not talked about, but pornography addiction specifically in women and young women is so, so common. And it's not talked about enough, because I feel like psychologically, at least from my perspective as a woman who experienced pornography addiction and who has recovered and had it at a very young age, the reason why I've kind of felt hesitant to talk about it, I don't think it's normalized for women to talk about it. Like, men maybe, but it's not normalized for women to talk about it. Because for women, it has different effects on them, on how it, like, presents. Well, how it presents is usually similar if they're kids, but the psychological and lasting effects can be very different. Because usually how the addiction gets perpetuated for men is, you know, with the act of the physical stimulation that goes along with it, with consuming the pornography. And it can make it so that they have very warped views on women or sexual relationships or romance or love or affection, or their dopamine receptors might be completely fucked. It will, like, warp their views on how those work. But for women, at least in my experience, there wasn't really a physical stimulation aspect that was involved during the addiction. It was literally just, like, sitting there, watching it, consuming it. It was, like, blank face, consuming it, just, like, so psychological, so, like, I don't even know, like, I remember it so vividly, like, lying and sneaking around to try and get, like, my fix. And my parents reacted in the best way that they possibly could. They did an amazing job with combating that. And because it's so hard, especially if you have a kid where they're addicted, especially to pornography. It can be incredibly hard to know how to deal with that as a parent, because one, you're obviously concerned, and two, how do I deal with this? How do I stop them? Because on one hand, you could just take away their electronics, but then there's aspects of there's downsides to that. Yeah, first time hearing that from a woman. Exactly. I feel like there's a huge perception where people subconsciously perceive like pornography addiction as something that happens to men or something that's more common in men, when I think that it is equally as common, if not possibly more common, to happen to women. Honestly. Like, and there's this very specific pipeline of pornography addiction to violence addiction. With people in my generation who grew up on the internet, there was a very specific pipeline of going from a pornography addiction to like seeing people get like killed or really violent things on like dark websites or like Reddit. That was the pipeline that I went down, and I got completely desensitized to like gore and things like that. And there were creators on YouTube that helped reinforce this addiction that have now been there is a YouTuber that I used to watch who I would get like my fix of this stuff from, and he's been like called out for all of like just how awful it is and how disrespectful it is. And like looking back, I'm just like, wow, I was 100% addicted to this. Because like, and for men, there's also violence addictions of like watching people die and things like that, and like 4chan and Reddit and blah blah blah. And it was very, very prevalent back when those sites used to be more widespread and more like less cracked down upon. Like Reddit has now removed all those subreddits. I remember that. But back when they were still up, lots of people would be subscribed to those subreddits, and it would be very like you would meet a lot of people who'd be like, oh, look at this sick video I found on the internet, and they'd be like, oh, but it's so cool, and like I'm so cool for like seeing this and not being fazed by it. But being desensitized to that kind of stuff is like really, really like it fucks you up. Like pornography addictions and violence addictions and internet content addictions, especially that young, fuck you up in ways that you do not realize. They mess you up psychologically and physiologically. Like I haven't really understood some of the lasting effects of the pornography addiction I had at a really young age until recently, now that I'm an adult. Like my way of approaching like relationships with people has been like I have a very healthy perception of sexual relationships with people, romantic relationships with people. However, approaching any kind of sexual interaction with somebody, the way that your body responds to that can be completely like twisted and like changed to be something abnormal, where your body won't respond to normal stimulation that normally would be sufficient enough for your body to be like, okay, release the arousal components. That, for me at least, that doesn't happen. Like, or there's been instances where just it doesn't happen in the way that it should. And, you know, historically, the concept of arousal and sexual attraction in a woman's body is incredibly different from how it works in a man's body. And the internet gives weird addictions. I feel ADHD is also well, I feel like the internet absolutely reinforced and made it a lot stronger and added new subsets of ADHD. It added more like ways that it like presents. ADHD has existed in many ways. However, the internet has unlocked a whole new side of it because of the way that the internet works. It's like a perfect storm. It's like, it's the perfect combination of like the dopamine, it's like a dopamine chamber. You're constantly getting hits of dopamine from the short attention span, the scrolling, and likes on the internet and comments and getting interactions. That's a dopamine. It's a dopamine like sphere. It's like a storm, and you get addicted to that because you're addicted to the getting of you're addicted to the receiving of dopamine. I don't know if I should say this, but I got into lesbian pornography by the age of 14. To this day, I still feel normal, but not really on the inside. Exactly. And like, and obviously it's your choice to say that. Just know that it is a safe space to say that. Like, I will be the first one to say that nobody should be made fun of for having an addiction, period. Addictions are not something to be like, oh, haha, you had an addiction. No! If people don't understand that, then they are fortunate to not have had experienced that. But you, so many times, especially with things that aren't like substances, like, I feel like comprehensively and like wrapping your head around drug addictions and alcohol addictions and stuff like that, or gambling addictions, that's a lot easier to comprehend than something like a pornography addiction, because there's no substance that you're taking. You're not getting a high off of it. You're not getting an effect from it that is desirable, that you keep coming back to. It is so much more psychological. There's very few physical reactions that you get that you want to keep going back to that cause the addiction. Like, most of the time, it gets to a point where you no longer feel arousal when you consume pornography. If you have a pornography addiction, you just no longer feel aroused. And, like, so you're just passively consuming it. Just to consume it. Just for the act of consuming it. And there's so much, I feel like the effects that it has on women need to be really studied and looked into, because I feel like it's so different than the effects that it has on men. Not to say that one's worse or better, they're just different, because women's bodies, and especially how their reproductive systems work and how they experience arousal and sexual attraction, fundamentally different, like cannot be compared to how it works for men. Just, they are not similar. They have different triggers, they have different ways they present, like the process of sexuality for young men and young women, how the pipeline of that usually happens, of like when they start being curious about sex, when they start like experimenting sexually, different, very different, and at different paces as well. Because how a woman's brain works and how a men's brain works is fundamentally, they work at different paces and they develop at different paces. So I feel like it needs to be more normalized that women are just as susceptible to pornography or violence addictions as men, especially young women, at the same time. And just for some reason, it's almost like pornography addiction as a concept has been like weirdly masculinized. I think by us, by like women, we've sort of perceived it as like, oh, it's like a masculine addiction to have, because, most people don't think that women watch porn. It's not catered towards women. It's just not. Porn by default is not catered towards women. It is catered towards men. Almost always. 99.9% of porn is catered towards men. Like, so the concept of a woman not only consuming pornography, but having an addiction to it, especially at a young age, is kind of like taboo. Like, weirdly taboo, even though pornography as itself is taboo. And I feel like that barrier of stopping the conversation at just men having the addiction, like, should not be there, because it, like, I guarantee there's so many people my age that have had this exact experience, even just having a pornography addiction or having the pornography addiction to violent addiction pipeline, that have never felt comfortable talking about it, have never felt like anybody else has experienced that. They feel like alone in it. It's easier to get someone hooked if they associate something with a pleasant feeling. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Even if only momentarily, yeah. And even if it's only psychologically, like, it capitalizes on the primal, bodily reaction of, like, to procreate. Like, observing that by proxy, pun unintended, makes it addictable. The arousal only comes at random times on certain days for me. Anytime I think of my favorite female characters like Zelda, for example, that's where watching the pornography comes in. Yeah, and I feel like that's definitely a more, like, normal way, like, especially if you're a man, it's a lot more random. It's a lot more prone to happen randomly. And it's a lot easier for arousal to happen for men. I mean, that's the whole like thing where it's just like, oh, during sex, like, a woman is not gonna, like, reach an orgasm. It's just not really gonna happen. Like, and that's the norm, because we experience it fundamentally differently. And it's just interesting that the conversation is hopefully expanding into these kind of things, because yeah, it's really hard. It's sometimes hard to talk about these things, but they're important to talk about because it's not going away anytime soon. Like, just because we have a new generation of people does not mean they're not going to be exposed to pornography in the same way that we were, if not more. I honestly feel like pornography addictions is gonna happen much more with Gen Alpha, stuff like that. I now know what a healthy relationship looks like, but I lack the confidence to talk to a woman to this day. Really? Is it like a fear of women, or is it like you don't feel like you'll properly be able to interact with them? Or like you won't be charismatic? Like, because there's so many different ways that that could like manifest, and it could mean a lot of different things. Like for me, one of the ways it's manifested for me, and this may be because of like poor relationships or poor sexual experiences, like unsafe sexual experiences that I've had, but I don't want to say it's like a fear of men, but I am always extremely wary of any man, any man, period. If I am like interacting with a man, especially if it's just one-on-one, I feel very like just kind of stuck, just very nervous, and there's no logical reason behind it. Even if they're like the safest, most like lovely person, I will still feel incredible anxiety prior to like meeting up with them. I think it's because men have to try hard to seek sex, so it's perceived that men consume porn more. Well, I think it's less that I don't think they have to try hard to seek sex. I think like just the way that their sexual desires and how they experience sexual feelings and sexual stimulation is fundamentally different than a woman's, and usually they will try to find a woman to have sex with, so naturally a woman is harder to like feel those things, and a guy feels it a lot easier, so it might have the perception of like they have to try harder, but in reality it's just how the normal brain functions compare to each other. Part of it comes from an abusive relationship where I was reminded every day that I'm not good enough, and I'm just the safe option. I think that brings me to my next point. Go to therapy. Everyone should go to therapy. Therapy will only make things better. I do not know a case in which therapy will make things worse. And yeah, if you can afford to go to therapy, please. For the benefit of you and other people, but mostly for you, go to therapy. And you're likely not going to get the therapist that you need on the first try, but that's okay. That's one of the hardest parts of therapy, but it is a necessary process of therapy, and you need to go about it. You meet with a therapist and you realize like, I don't really feel like this is a fit. You tell them that because they are not going to take it personally. It's their job to, like, they have no reason to take it personally. See if they can, like, refer you to somebody else, because they want to help you. Like, tell police nothing, tell doctors everything. That includes therapists, because they are only going to help you. Like, the only reason that they are going to break confidentiality is if they determine that you are a risk to yourself or to other people. Like, you do not have, like, they are not confident in your ability to not hurt yourself and not hurt other people. I'm 25K in debt and only make 40. I mean, like, everybody's situation is different. I'm just saying that if you have the ability to get therapy or see a therapist, even if it's infrequently, do it, please. It, like, fundamentally life-changing. Like, in a positive sense. Like, and see if your insurance will cover therapy. And if it won't, unless you have, like, specific issues, make shit up. Get that therapy. You are absolutely allowed to throw a fit and make shit up to get the care you need. Like, when I was getting my tonsils out, like, they don't take tonsils out from adults unless it is extremely, extremely serious. Because they don't like doing it, because the risk is, like, so much higher than with kids. It's, like, one of the only things that, like, increases in risk the longer you're recovering from it. Like, first day after recovery, there's very little risk of, like, hemorrhaging and stuff like that. But as you start to get better, the risk gets higher because people think like, oh, I'm feeling better, like I'm recovering, and they try to lift something, boom, hemorrhage, blood out of their mouth, they're bleeding so much and they have to go to the hospital because people think that they're getting better, and they're so much more prone to like ripping the stitches. But like the criteria for getting your tonsils removed as an adult is ridiculous. Like my tonsils were always humongous, like in the scale of like that it shows like tonsil size and like seriousness and like necessary for them to be removed. It's like a scale of like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, like where the last one is like it's completely blocking the ability to breathe, or it's blocking the airway sufficiently enough that it's hindering the ability to breathe. I was the one right before that, like right before it. And I had gotten my adenoids out, which are right behind the tonsils, when I was 2. But they usually would take the tonsils out along with them, but I was already displaying developmental struggles, and the doctor was a very conservative doctor, not in the way of like politically, but he was conservative as in he was like less is more. He was not going to do unnecessary cutting or surgeries if he didn't feel like they were necessary, which honestly, it's good to have a doctor like that. But, like, if he truly thought that would have been a risk that he didn't want to take, then he has every right not to take that. And honestly, I respect the fuck out of that. But it made it so that I had my tonsils in, and they were fucking huge from the start. And they never, like, they never weren't huge. They were always just there, and anytime I'd go to the doctor and I would open my mouth, they would be like, say, ah, and they would always make a note of being like, wow, your tonsils are really big. I had strep throat all the time as a kid. I got it like at least 2 or 3 times a year. And it only kick-started like needing to get my tonsils out when I went to England to see my ex-boyfriend over Christmas break. And, you know, he thought a great idea for my first experience with alcohol would be to give me shots of tequila. Oh, yeah. A person that's been never exposed to alcohol, really, in their whole life. Sure, for your first experience of alcohol, I'm gonna give you shots of tequila. Here you go! And I threw up so hard because obviously I had like 3, he gave me like 3 shots of tequila. I want to emphasize, first time having alcohol, period. First time having alcohol. He decided, great idea, shots of tequila. I don't know what made him think that, but when I inevitably threw up super threw up, it irritated my throat so much that I got tonsillitis. So like my first days in England were spent in bed because I got tonsillitis from throwing up so much because he gave me alcohol, like irresponsibly. And like, I just don't understand why he thought that was smart. Why he thought that was smart at all. Like, why? But, and then he got mad at me when I got sick. When I had to go to the doctor, he was like bitching and moaning the whole time that we were at the doctor. And I was like freaking out because I'm in a different country. I'm in a different continent. And I'm sick and I need treatment. And like, he made me feel bad about being sick. And like, I was terrified. That's a time when like he was older than me. He was like 22. I was 8, like, what was it? I think he was 21 at that time. Yeah, he was 21 and I was 18. And like that's a time when you support your partner because they're scared out of their fucking mind. And he didn't, you know, he made me feel bad about it. And when I told him, like, I don't really want to drink alcohol really for the rest of the trip, he got really upset with me. Like, he was just like, when I told him because that experience, that really negative experience of alcohol, obviously gave me a kind of negative perception of my experience with alcohol going forward, like it would literally anybody else, because that's how the brain works. If you have a negative experience, you're more likely to not want to have that experience again. Even if it won't be negative the next time, you're more likely to be like, I don't really want to. He got so upset with me when I said that. He'd be like, don't say that. Like, it's not my fault or whatever. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, why would he blow a gasket when he was the one that... Yeah, exactly! He was just like, don't say that. Like, don't say that you won't drink alcohol. I'm just like, I should have left so much earlier. I spent a month with him in England. I should have left so soon, but I was in love and I wasn't able to see all the red flags and stuff like that. I know it's viewed as a social norm, but like I got sick. I got so sick. It was like tonsillitis in a way where I was like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like we had to, it took me 5 days to recover. Like it was awful. It was so bad. And so after that, I knew that if I got tonsillitis again, like it would have been emergency room trip, 100%. And so when I got back home, I told my mom, like, within the next year, I have to get my tonsils out because it's too dangerous to risk them getting inflamed again. Because if they, like, get infected or they, like, have an infection, the likelihood of it, like, spreading and, like, getting really bad is so high because they're so big. And just, like, it's awful. So we went to go get him out, and there's only, like, 2 doctors in, like, the state that I was living in that would do it on adults. And so I thought it was normal when my ex pushed me onto the road with car. What? That's attempted murder! Lion Star, that's attempted murder! Pookie? Pookie, are you good? Damn. Damn, bro. Damn, bro. Bro. Shit's crazy. Shit's crazy. So, they had to do, like, a bunch of tests and, like, check to see if I qualified for the surgery. Because if I didn't meet the criteria, they were not going to give me the surgery. So, my mom was just like, say yes to every question. Like, they grilled me. It was like an interrogation. Because if they don't feel like they need to do the surgery, if they don't see it as an absolute emergency and an absolute necessity, they will not do the surgery on adults. The cops wouldn't do anything since they were friends with her? It's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. But, like, so my mom was just like, they're gonna ask you questions, even if it's not true. Like, you've had enough strep throat and enough issues with your tonsils that you need to get this surgery. So even if it's not true, say yes. Like, need you to get this surgery no matter what. Like, so my mom gave me the okay to, like, half lie to the doctor just so I could get the surgery that I absolutely needed. And, like, yeah, I absolutely needed it. Like, I remember getting them out, and then I had to, like, it was, like, my voice entirely changed. Like, the way I sang was completely differently, the way I spoke was completely differently. Like, I don't snore anymore. Like, wild. Life-changing. Yeah. Crazy shit, you know? Excuse me. Oh, but yeah, I'm gonna be, hopefully, if he responds to me, I'm gonna be working with I think he's pretty big. I'm not gonna name drop him in case it doesn't work out. Yeah, he has 1.53 million subscribers. I'm gonna be making some stuff with it for him. It's pretty cool. So that's exciting. It's very exciting. So yeah, that's been updates. Do you guys think I should wait to buy another light? Like, do you think this setup is good for now? What do we think? Because this Urple is really cool. I really like it. Also, let me know if you, like, think any other, like, decorations or something that I could do would be nice. Wait for now. Okay. Okay. Because there's gotta be a light that doesn't die in, like, 3 months. That's not bust my ass expensive. There's gotta be. There's gotta be, right? Right? Anyways, Silk Song on September 5th. I'll see if I can get Rusty to come on. He made a lot of Hollow Knight content back in the day. He makes Elden Ring content. He makes a lot of lists. Go check him out. Rusty the Super Forge. Some anime posters. Ooh, I do have a lot of posters. So y'all might have to go through them with me and tell me which ones you'd like to see, like what you think would be best. Because I have so many posters and I just haven't put them up. I have so many. I also thought that my ex aggressively getting me to do certain things I didn't want to do was just what it means to be with somebody who's just a little hard-headed, but I'm glad she's not in my life. Yeah, I'm glad she's not in your life anymore as well. God. Scary. It's always so interesting getting out of a bad relationship and looking back being like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But it's always really important to not blame yourself and not get mad at yourself, because you have to remember that if you're in love with somebody, your brain will disregard logic to justify being with them. Just remember that. And people who are manipulative will take advantage of that and reinforce that and make it even harder to get out. Okay? So don't blame yourself. Congratulate yourself for getting out, because a lot of people don't. And a lot of people feel like they can't ever. But you did it. You did it. Even if you weren't the one to, like, leave, you got out. You were able to get out. That is something to be applauded. And to be proud of. I like this little sprout. Excuse me. Yeah, they seem like weirdos. Okay. Anything y'all want to ask me or anything y'all want to do for the rest of the stream? Because I don't really have anything else to talk about that's, like, recent, I guess. I mean, I always have something to yap about, but, like... What do you think? Yeah, isn't it super cute? Ah, it's so silly. It's so I tend to not take advantage of those that are still damaged from past relationships, like abuse. Absolutely. Like, because those people, it's very common for people that have just gotten out of abusive relationships to immediately want to get into another relationship, abusive or not, because they've been conditioned and manipulated to depend on companionship and validation from another person. And that's good on you to not, that you're aware of that, and you deliberately set that boundary. Make sure you support people that you know that are going through that in the best way you can. But also, if you feel like it's too much, it's too hard for you to, like, support them even in the way that they need you to, like, if you feel like you cannot handle that, you are not a bad person for declining and distancing yourself. You are always allowed to prioritize yourself and your business and what you're going through over other people. You are never a bad person for doing that. Like, ever. Like, and if they try to make you feel bad about that, just be like, Got the cat ears for Proxy and ZZZ. Wait, what do you mean for Proxy? Oh, the little ones that you can get, like, at the shop? I have some ears. I have a couple pairs of ears. I have Miyabi's ears. I also have these silly white ones that are like, for like a goat, they have like horns and then they're like little ears. Yeah. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I've never done that before. Ugh. I think for a functional society, we sometimes have to be okay with expecting people to do for others. Yeah, we can expect it, but we can't demand it of them. And I'm not talking about like a position of power. I'm talking about just relationships person to person. If you're dealing with something and you don't feel like you have the capacity to handle something for another person, you can still be there for them without taking on their shit. Like, put your mask on first before helping somebody else. Take care of yourself first before you worry about taking care of other people. Because remember, you do the most effective care when you yourself are taken care of. So, social expectation. It's a soft demand, yes, but there's a lot of times where, like, especially for people like me, where, like, I have a hard time sometimes picking up on what's expected of me. It can feel... Sometimes things that are normalized are things that don't necessarily matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, I can't think of an example, but I think allowing still people to take choices and make a decision on how they want to interact with other people is important, even if it goes against the societal norm, as long as it's not hurting other people and they're able to, like, function and be an upstanding member of society, but they're taking care of themselves, even if that means that they distance themselves from people that would want more of them because they know, honestly, it's a mature decision to distance yourself from somebody that wants more from you if you know you can't give that to them for whatever reason. Because that's you being aware of what you have the capacity to give and honoring that that person wants more than you are able to provide. And being able to, like, get over your pride and take a step back. You hate getting help. It makes me feel like I'm lacking. It's a really hard thing to learn how to ask for help and be okay with asking for help. It's definitely something that I've seen a lot of my peers really struggle with. I think I have a broader definition of hurt than you might have. Yeah, probably. I think there's different kinds of hurt. I think there's somebody that is, like, put off, like, things that are polite. If you don't say or do something that is considered polite, even if you are, you can still absolutely be a good and polite person without doing said polite thing just because it's expected of you. Like, Like, I always do what feels appropriate and what I feel comfortable doing. If somebody asks me to do something directly, I will say yes if I feel like it's reasonable to ask that of me and I feel comfortable doing it in that moment, and I will say no if I don't. And being able to say and allowing myself to say yes or no, I don't think that means that I should be perceived as a bad person. Like, obviously, I don't want to, like, make somebody feel like they are lesser than. And so I don't do things that make people feel like they are lesser than. Here's how rabid I am on this. If I walk into a business and the person in front doesn't greet me with a smile, I'm slighted by that. That seems like a personal problem for you. Because that's not a normal, that's not how you should take away that interaction. That seems like something that you have. Because if that's the case, you aren't owed anything by other people. We have to all remember that we have no control over other people. And other people do not owe us anything. Majority of the time, no one owes us anything. It is, like, expected of them, but very rarely are people actually obligated to do anything for us. We are expected to receive respect from other people, but that seems like something that you yourself have to deal with if you determine somebody's, like, if you feel personally slighted by somebody if they didn't smile at you. Like, that's not a normal mentality. And it's not a healthy mentality. Because you will be a very, very, very miserable person if you have that mentality and exist in society. People are gonna do their own thing, and you need to be okay with that. A baseline politeness is social obligation. No one's owed anything to you. I don't know if this is like rage bait, Miser, what you're saying, but if it's not, I'm very sorry that you have that perception, because that is not reality. You can want that from other people. You aren't entitled to it, though. You're not entitled to it. And it's unreasonable to punish someone that you perceive has slighted you for not being polite. I try to be the best person. I try to be the best kind of person I try to best kind person I be. I'm having an aneurysm. Define entitled. Well, you're saying that you deserve that. That you're, like, you're owed it. It's mutually owed. Like, so are you saying, like, if somebody doesn't smile at you first, like, you're not gonna treat them kindly going forward? Like, because that's just like, you're relying on other people for your own happiness way too much. Well, you're defining cold treatment as, like, somebody not smiling at you when you walk into a door. That's not cold treatment. They are a stranger. You are a stranger to them. They aren't obligated to say or do anything to you. Doing nothing is honestly the most respectful thing. But would you rather they do something to you? Like, okay, then if you know that you treat people politely even if they're rude, what they do, yeah, you can take note of it, but having that mentality of going into things thinking that you are expecting and, like, going to think poorly of somebody if they don't meet your criteria. I mean, if you think that's a reasonable criteria, that's you. But for me, my reasonable criteria for people like, I will always do my absolute best to be respectful and conscientious of how I interact with people. Always. However, what I'm willing to tolerate from people, like, if somebody does something that I'm not willing to tolerate, what I do is I will distance myself from that person. I will just leave the situation, because I absolutely am able to leave the situation. And it sucks. People can be absolute assholes. But it's one of the hardest truths ever, sort of coming to terms with the fact that you cannot change people's behavior. You can't. You have absolutely no control over it. You can tell them what they did hurt you. You can say, hey, what you're doing isn't okay. But if they don't want to change, they aren't going to change. And that sucks. And that blows. And that's so hard to deal with, because it's not our fault. And we shouldn't be treated poorly just 'cause. But it is the way things are. Because people have their own free will. And if somebody doesn't want to change their behavior, for whatever reason, they aren't going to. And so all we can do is protect ourselves and know what we are willing to tolerate. And if somebody goes over that, we have every right imaginable to be like, nope. Bye. We don't have to interact with them. Like, we don't, or if we are forced to, like, interact with them, we do not have to go above and beyond and be kind to them. We can be cordial, and we can be very, like, matter of fact, but we do not have to give them the same amount of, like, we do not have to expend energy on them. We can get what we need to get done. Like with a coworker, if a coworker is just absolutely awful to you, and you've already done what you need to do, you've already spoken to somebody about it, you've already communicated to them that you don't like this, and you've already distanced yourself multiple times, like you've done everything that you know that you are in control of. If you are forced to still work with them, the best thing you can do is not expend any extra energy on somebody that is not going to use it, like, is not going to, that you're not going to get anything back from. Because you're just wasting energy. If you keep trying to change them and make them see the error in their ways, they're not going to change, and you will just waste energy and exhaust yourself fighting an uphill battle. People must understand you can't expect a lot out of people. You're a stranger, and so are they, and you don't know them like that. Yeah, you can understand that everyone deserves respect. However, you have to come to terms with the fact that people aren't always going to give you respect. And you have to know how to deal with that. You don't have to be okay with that, but you have to know how to deal with that in a way that you don't, like, flip out at people if they don't show you respect, because that's not going to help anything. I am and have always been fully aware that I cannot control other people. All I'm saying is that I have a different standard of polite social interaction from most people, and I won't ditch it. That's fine, but I'm just wanting to make sure you're not, like, just because somebody didn't fit what you believe is polite, that you somehow treat them lesser. Like, you could treat them cordially and, like, not expend extra energy on them if you believe that they have not been polite, but, like, I'm just wanting to make sure that you're not treating anybody, like, worse because they, like, because you have to understand, being impolite does not deserve disrespect. Like, it doesn't, being impolite means something different than being rude. Impoliteness is a lot smaller of a, like, a offense than being, like, rude, in my mind. This is how I perceive all the vague social interactions of the world, especially specifically American society. Because I always have felt like an alien coming in here and being like, okay, how do humans work? So if somebody's impolite to me, I might take note of it. I might not even fucking notice. But if I do, and I feel like for whatever reason, like, I feel really strongly about that, I'll ask them about that. I won't be like, you should do this. I'm gonna ask them, like, hey, is there any reason why you didn't, like, say thank you when I gave you this? Like, is there something wrong? And often, they either don't even realize that they haven't done what's considered polite, or they haven't even realized that they've been impolite. 2, there might be something going on with them that I have nothing to do with, and they just, unfortunately, it came out in a small way. 3, it's a complete misunderstanding, and they thought that they actually were polite, but their perception of it is different than mine, which is normal. That is something to expect. Everyone's perception of societal norms is different. General impoliteness is, to me, a fault and not a negligible one, except in the company of other outstanding qualities or mitigating circumstances, which are each often rare. So, you're using a lot of words, but I feel like you don't need to, but that's okay. I'm wondering, if you are not around a bunch of people, or if you're not in, like, a gathering and you're just in, like, a public space, and a stranger does something that you perceive as impolite, what would you do? How do you go about that? Like, are you gonna confront them? Are you gonna, like, give them the stink eye? Like, how do you deal with that? Or do you deal with it at all? Because not doing anything is a valid response, and I think it's the most, like, I think that's definitely a response that I would do, where I would just take note of it and just, like, move on, because that's a stranger. I'm never gonna see them again. Why would I expend any energy on somebody I'm never gonna see again? Like, I don't care. And there's so many things I don't know about them that could lead to the reason why they made a fault in my eyes. Like, they might not even have noticed me, or have noticed that they didn't do something. Like, I feel like defaulting to taking things possibly personally is probably a very exhausting way to perceive things. Because I don't believe in confrontation or correction. Like, fundamentally, you don't believe in it? Like, you don't believe, like, the merit of confrontation or correction? I may at most bitch about him to someone who would have been a stranger to him. Who would have to be a stranger to him. Why would you expend that energy? Why would you do... I'm not, like, criticizing you. I'm just wanting to, like, understand, because it just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm always wanting to learn how other people work. W Lone Star. Yeah. Just keep my head down and am polite to everyone. Yeah. The way I go about things is I know how I would like to be treated, and I go and treat people kindly and cordially and politely. That doesn't mean I have to talk to them. I can just give, like, I don't have to speak to them, but I can just venting isn't expending energy to me, it's relieving stress. Okay. I mean, whatever works for you. I just feel like that's such a minor thing to vent about. Like, because I'm like thinking that you'd be venting about somebody, like, not holding the door open for you. Like, yeah, not holding the door open for somebody, even if they know you're there, it's not polite, but that doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't, and I don't think it's, like, reasonable to be like, oh, you're a bad person for not holding the door open for me. Not like I have a choice, since it's management that's very rude beyond the normal professional coldness. Yeah. Management can be, unfortunately, a humongous dickwad, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's an exercise in tolerance, children. And it's important to know what you will tolerate um, and what you won't tolerate, because even in business settings or situations where you can't do anything about somebody that's going against your boundaries, you can at least take note of it and like not holding the not holding the door. Okay, so then what do you perceive as something like impolite? Because I need specifics, because I'm not, you haven't really explained what you perceive as impolite, so I'm curious. I'm very curious. Yeah, I just do my own thing, and I rely on other people communicating to me if they have an issue with it. And if they do, I go from there and I will communicate back to them, because I always respect if people have the confidence to communicate it to me that they don't feel comfortable or something like that, or if they feel like I did something wrong, I always will respect that they came to me instead of just holding it and being like grudgy about it. Everyone is friends with management. I'd be essentially alone against everyone else in my workplace in such a company. Yeah, so in that case, the best decision is to not confront them. A stranger swearing in public would be a medium example. What do you mean? Like, there are so many contexts in which like that is completely reasonable to happen. Like, if somebody fucking gets hurt and they swear and they happen to be in a public space, like, is that considered like a fault in your eyes? Because I also feel like if you deem something else as a fault that other people do, you have to make sure that you yourself don't do said thing, because you would be hypocritical then. If you criticize somebody else for doing something that you perceive as not correct, you have to make sure that you don't do those things as well. And so that's why I'm saying it's exhausting, probably, like, the way that I'm understanding that you perceive things. It must be exhausting because there must be so many things that you have to be, like, hyper vigilant about. I don't know. Yeah, swearing isn't bad. Swearing is a form of communication. It adds emphasis, and if it's used, I am always a truther of people are allowed to swear as long as it is used reasonably. Mitigating circumstances mitigate, but dropping F-bombs in a public space just to do it is an infraction. Were you a hall monitor? Like, I don't know how old you are, but, like, the way you're going about speaking about this is very hall monitor-y. I don't live up to my own standards all the time, but it's never not been a worthy endeavor for me. Why can't you extend the same grace to other people then? The sprout looks like really, like, interesting backdrop. Ugh. Oh, it's my brother's birthday today. Happy birthday, brother. He's turning 20. I'll probably end stream by 8, so I can go call him. Hall monitors are absolute cringe lords. They can be, absolutely. If they get into, like, a power trip type shit, absolutely. You were on the safety patrol? If I may ask, how old are you? Like, give me a range. Happy 20s to him. Yeah, he's so smart. Oh my god, he's so smart. He's studying quantum physics. Like, the textbook, like, smart person degree. That's his degree. Like, oh my god. He's at an insanely tough school. Like, insane. Like, it's a smart person school. 100%. Yeah, my baby brother. I love him so much. He's so adorable. I love him. You're in your 20s? Oof. Oof. like early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s? What are we talking about? Because that will just like if it's early 20s, I can reasonably like be like, okay, you still have you'll probably like come back to this. You probably won't have this mindset like in a year or 2 or 3. Like, if you're in late 20s, I'm just like, okay. I almost went to a school for aerospace engineering, but it was too expensive, so I just went right to work after high school. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a way of going about it. It's good to get a job if you feel like, yeah, education is too expensive, because education is, like, so fucking expensive. Like, unreasonably expensive. Mid-20s. Okay. 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 I mean, I wish you luck in social interaction going forward. I definitely do not envy you. I do not envy your mindset. To me, it seems like a very sad life. Seems like a very stressful life. Like stressing about things that aren't worth stressing about. But yeah, I mean, I wish you the best. You now have your 608 certification and still looking for an HVAC apprenticeship now. What's an HVAC apprenticeship? Like, what field is that again? Mid-late 20s, 26, so to speak. I'm gonna be 27 in October. Oh, hell yeah. Nice. That's coming up. Not really, but it's coming up. Within the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. I definitely don't stress about it. I mean, okay. Air conditioners. Ooh, okay. Ooh. So do you do, like, electrician stuff? That's interesting. The people that install and service them? Oh, hell yeah. You do good work. No electrical experience yet. I see. Lo-fi, no copyright music. Still stuck in retail till I get an apprenticeship. Oh, you're in retail? Yeah, that explains the dick management. That absolutely explains it. I have not worked in retail before, and I hope never to. But, God, I feel for y'all. I feel for y'all so hard. Y'all do good work. Y'all do good fucking work, and y'all get so much shit for it. The world doesn't deserve y'all. Y'all need a break. Y'all need to get paid more. Oh, this light is so nice. I love the light. I had a couple good people in management before. Nice. Nice. So we're gonna do more Hollow Knight, but I want to do more coffee talk as well. So what I'm thinking is I might do a late stream tomorrow night with coffee talk. Like 8 p.m. 6 p.m., 8 p.m. CST. And then I'll see, but I think the goal is that I also stream. I like stream every day for like the next couple days because I'm gonna be leaving on like Monday. Go down to my mom to get the car, and then I'll be back. Let me give you guys the dates. Yeah, I'll be leaving the 25th, and then at the latest, I will be back the 31st. Oh yeah, every now and then it's the right thing to do to confront somebody. The AMs are especially weird to me. What times for streams do y'all prefer? Do y'all prefer like early afternoon streams, late afternoon streams? What do y'all prefer? We're grooving. View 5 p.m. What time zone are you? It's undetermined since retail is never just the same hours every day. Yeah. Ooh, my favorite YouTubers released more videos I can put on in the background while I clean my room. You just hop on when you can. View 5 p.m. Okay. Remember me from a Discord server a few years back? Oh, hell yeah. I've been on a lot of Discord servers. Also, make sure to join the Discord so you can get updated anytime I go live. Here, let me... God, where's the fucking Discord link? Probably some anime server. Yeah, literally. Dead by Daylight. Yeah, you met me on Dead by Daylight. Back when I played Dead by Daylight. My voice set, the Paimon voice video reached 200k views. It's been at 200k for a while, but like, that's crazy. Like, that's insane. Like, that's fucking wild, man. That's wild. Ooh, I'm looking at my audience. I have a pretty close male to female ratio audience. 53% male, 44% female, and 2% user specified. 43% of my audience is 18 to 24 years old. 34% is 25 to 34 years old. And 7% is 13 to 17 years old. 28% of people are from the United States. And then the next one is Philippines at 9%. And then India is after that at 4%. Ooh. Very interesting. Okay. I think we wrap up. This was a lovely stream. This was the most interaction I've gotten from chat on a stream before, by far. This was so fun. Oh my god. I love talking with you guys. I love talking and interacting with chat. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I sure did. So coffee talk tomorrow. Coffee talk tomorrow. I think maybe like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. CST, I guess. Because I'm guessing we'll go for a while, like 3 hours. 3-4 hours. Yeah, I did like talking with you, Miser. It was really awesome. Please do this more, Proxy. What do you mean, stream or like just talking streams? I did like talking to you. It was really interesting, and I'm really happy you stayed and had a conversation. It's always really interesting seeing other people's perspectives on things. Because at the end of the day, you're a person on the internet. I'm never gonna know you in real life. And that's fine. But that also makes it really fortunate that you decided to share your perspective on things. And I'm really happy you did. And despite our disagreements, I do hope you enjoyed your time here. Because that's always the goal. Whether or not I disagree with people, I always hope that they at least have a positive experience. Neutral positive. Ideally positive, but I'm fine with neutral. Talking streams? Yeah. Like, would you guys prefer fully talking or like slight game while talk or slight art while talk? Because I'm fine doing any of them. I will absolutely do this more though. Only if y'all will be this active. Because it's lonely not having anybody to talk to. I want to yap with y'all. Y'all make it so fun. To know you outside of the internet. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day. You know, VidCon 2026. I don't fucking know. Oh my god, you drove to... Hannibal mentioned. Oh, I just... God. Y'all should watch Hannibal, the TV show. It's like one of the best shows literally ever created. Amnesia the Bunker. So, I've low-key already played that because I was there on my ex-boyfriend's channel when he played it. So I already know the game. I also don't think I could do a just chatting stream with a horror game. I would be fucking freaked out. Kind of pass through that city. Ooh. About the same population as your hometown. Ooh. It's pretty tiny, isn't it? Yeah, small towns are cool. Logic bombs? What's logic bombs? You just wanted me to get a virus. You just wanted me to get a virus. Yes! Oh my god, I have Grease. I have Grease. I've been wanting to play it forever. I know all about it. It's one of my favorite games ever, but I've never actually played it. Holy shit, I have it. It's ready to go. Oh my god. I've been hesitating to play it because I want to make sure that people are here for it. Because I want to expose as many people to Grease as possible. Terrible Town is the worst part of the state? Well, I could imagine. I could guess. Sounds pretty terrible. But yeah, also, especially with short games, please recommend them to me. Go into the Discord, DM them to me, comment them. Like, it would be so cool to play. Like, there's a lot of games that I get so sentimental about games that I haven't played because I want to save them for when I get a larger audience so I can show people the game and, like, dude, like, you know. Do you get what I mean? Do you get what I mean? I hope you get what I mean. You get what I mean? Okay. Good. I'll try to wear makeup because makeup's fun. Makeup's really fun. I gotta practice makeup. I never get good at it if I don't practice. Who knows? I come in with like full clown makeup. Hi guys! Okay. I think with that, here is where we end stream. I'm gonna go call my brother, tell him a happy birthday. Please, if you think of games that I could play, especially short ones, cozy ones, whatever, or ones that have a lot of voice acting that I could do, like visual novels, stuff like that. Games where I could do a lot of reading. Please recommend them. Join the Discord. I'll put it in the YouTube description. I just have to update that because I'm stupid. Yes. Please tune into the next stream. I would love to see you there. Y'all have the benefit of me being like small, so I will read everything y'all send and I will always be like, hey! Moonlighter. What's Moonlighter? Moonlighter. Ooh, what's that? An action RPG with roguelike elements. Whoa. It's $1.99. Ooh. Maybe. Is it cozy? All right. We will see. We will see. We will see. All right. I'm gonna head out. You all have a lovely rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, night, however, wherever, whatever time period you are. Thank you for coming to the stream, and if you are watching this after the stream, or however long after this, thank you for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. Have I played Hades? No, but I have it. I bought it. I should play it. That would be so fun. Oh my god. I should play it, y'all. Join the Discord because I'll write down all the list of games that I have, and y'all can help me plan when I do what. But yeah. Thank you truly for coming to the stream. I really appreciated having you here. I always love talking with you all. I hope you will continue to support my silly, stupid streams, because I love doing them, and I hope you like watching them, because I love having you here. And with that, I bid you all a wonderful farewell. Adieu. Bonsoir. What else? Buenas noches. Konbanwa. I'll learn more. I promise. Bye, my lovelies. Enjoy the outro screen.